Okay, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and also Instagram. So I'm so happy that you guys are all here. Thank you for being here. I have the pleasure of having Gina Marie with us today. Gina is the speaker at the fourth annual Symptom Free MS Summit. Gina, tell us about what you're talking about in the summit. Tell us about all this. I'm just excited. I lose my words when I'm excited.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. And yes, I'm extremely excited about the summit. I prepared and talked with you. My feature talk is on permission to play and how we get so caught up in our healing journeys with all of the seriousness and the heaviness of everything we deal with day to day that we often lose sight of the fact that when we take time to disconnect from the stress, from the overwhelm, from that, the heaviness of dealing with all that we deal with when we have chronic illnesses day to day, when we take time to disconnect and get almost into a childlike play state again, which is adults, very difficult to do. We don't do that very much. It can facilitate healing in some of the most magical, incredible ways. And it truly, truly, I had said on my talk, I believe that happiness can bring health. Health doesn't necessarily bring happiness. So it's really when you turn that around and you try to, as much as you can, even though we're dealing with so much, tap into a happy, more playful state. It is incredible what our body relaxes enough to do when it comes to healing.
Okay, so but you're talking about the concept of be, do, have. You said happiness comes before health.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
therein lies the challenge right there. What
Yes.
happens if I'm not happy because I'm experiencing symptoms? What happens if I'm really pissed off today? What happens if the loved ones in my life have upset me so much it puts me into that state of that fight, flight, freeze, or frustrations within me? What can we do?
So it is very easy to get caught in that, right? We almost become addicted to being caught in that cycle because so often it's our day-to-day normal. That's our normal. Our normal is to wake up and start reacting to everything the world throws at us, to the people in our lives that may be giving us, crap for taking longer to do something, or when the symptoms kind of kick in, sometimes we have to check out for a day, and maybe the spouse is tired of picking up the slack. I know in my own healing journey I had that many times where sometimes our caregivers and our partners run out of that. However, what I learned through all of it is our energy states are creating everything in our world at all times, and we are vibrational magnets. So anything we're outputting, we are getting back. So if throughout the day we're letting our central nervous system overload with that fight or flight, we are going to be emitting that signal, and more things are going to be coming in to just facilitate that response even more, even more, even more. So we have to figure out a way, even though it can be difficult at first, to do a major pattern disrupt where we stop what we're doing. We recognize that we're in the fight or flight. We can feel it. We have the dry mouth, the pit in the stomach, the heart is racing. We're reaching for another pill to possibly calm and try to prevent a panic attack because we're just spiraling in these, chemicals that are releasing, and we're just getting caught up. We have to figure out a way to put a pattern interrupt, a stopped, and then what can we do? What have we discovered and found for ourselves that can pull us out of that? Maybe it's music, maybe it's movement, maybe it's breath work, maybe it's going to a different part of your house, maybe it's going to the yard for a little bit. But an action has to be taken at that moment that the awareness kicks in that we need to stop the loop.
Okay, so but you're talking about pattern interrupt. Could it be just a word, or could it be just a phrase that we say to ourselves in that moment when we become aware that our body is entering into that lower vibrational state, or that state of disharmony within us. And is it enough just to stop us in that moment, to kind of, you saw my head pull back, just kind of pull us out of it in just that split of a second?
So for me, I came up with the concept of imagining a light switch in my brain, and I call it my color switch. And it's having that awareness that when I know it's off versus on. And when my color switch is on, I'm speaking differently, I'm acting differently, I'm making different choices. When the color switch is off, I'm in dark mode. I just know it. I feel it. We move around like that. So for me, absolutely, that 1 second pause to say, is this a colorful thought that I'm thinking? Is this a colorful phrase that I'm speaking? Am I being colorful? Now, for me, that was just easy for me to equate because I had spent so much time in the dark for 9 years of dealing with illnesses and depression and anxiety. To me, when I started to notice my color coming back, it was because I activated that awareness and I started to change the way I was moving throughout my day, and all of the color has come back in my life now. And I've been medication free for a few years. Everything that I was diagnosed with is in remission, cannot be found on blood work. So that's how I describe it. And I do think it's as easy as making that decision, because it all starts with that choice, and you get to decide how you respond in any moment rather than just react all the time.
Oh, I love this, because what you're saying is the reactionary state is one of stress, frustration, fear, worry, doubt, shame, fill in the blank. But by you consciously going, man, I'm in the dark right now, and you reach over in your mind's eye and flip on your color switch.
Yes, it works. And it works in two different ways, because there was, when I found out that my brother had died, I was about to get out of the car and go into prom pictures, and I was with my daughter, and she knows I've talked about the switch in our brains, and the switch just, to me, represents your element of control in any given moment. So I told her, I said, you remember how mom always talks about her switch? Well, in this case, we need to turn the switch off for a few minutes, and we have to go out, and we're not going to be able to respond. Let's give it in the off position. I'm not saying that's not to feel, but it helped me explain to her that we had the control, even in one of the most stressful moments, to just decide how we were going to react for 5 or 10 minutes. And then when we got back in the car, the switch was back on, and we let our emotions feel. So it has a dual, I guess, purpose to it. It's
Sure.
basically just for you to identify that switch is yours to control at any time you want, whether it's to turn on the color or turn off the dark emotions that might be overtaking you. It's just having that mind's eye picture to say, I'm going too far, one way or the other, and I get to readjust when I decide.
What I love is that you're approaching this with no judgment.
Zero.
With you're basically just as the observer, seeing that, okay, this emotion right now, I just need to turn this off right now. And this, I need to flip on my mood. So it's kind of like when we walk into a room and it's dark, we have the choice to reach over and flip on the light switch. And then when we leave the room, which I hope my teenagers do, reach over and flip off the switch.
Yeah, it's always in your control. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, Gina, I am so excited about your segment this year in the summit. Now, if you have not registered yet for the Symptom-Free MS Summit, reach over, click on that link, register for the summit. It's absolutely free. And what you are going to hear over this next 14 days, and it starts on Monday, is you're going to hear from 2 speakers a day like Gina Marie. And just think of this moment right now, the wisdom that Gina shared with us. It gets even bigger. And so, Gina, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the summit this year. And once again, I am so looking forward to your segment.
Thank you so much, Matt. I had incredible time recording it. And I'm excited to see all of the other speakers as well, because it is such a huge variety of content that's coming together that it doesn't matter if you are struggling with specifically MS or anything, any chronic illness that has a symptom that is plaguing you every day. I know that throughout all of these, wonderful, incredible speaking sessions, there's something in there for everybody and so much value. So I'm excited to hear them myself. Very excited.
This is the fun part. We are changing the face of medicine, Gina. This is where we give the patient options instead of just pushing drugs. There is a better way.
Absolutely.
So, sending so much love to everybody. Definitely ask us questions here on Facebook. If you need anything at all, or if you have any questions about the summit, we are here for you. So Gina, once again, thank you so much for everything that you do. You are such an amazing healer and teacher for all of us.
Thank you, Matt. I feel the same about you.
Thank you.